Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I did not realize this started. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to share my screen. Um, and hopefully, we're able to lock in some profitable bets on prize picks on different platforms. Let me just go ahead and retweet this. Then let's get into it. So, any questions you have, don't hesitate to ask. What we're going to be going through is prize picks, underdog, and Bovada mainly. I mean, maybe there's some other sports books we'll throw in the mix, but we've been hot kind of on all of these platforms. Um, we just had this. So this play I gave out on the live stream yesterday, Munar plus 205. That one, we lost Kotov plus 4.5, but I guess that was a smaller bet for us. So, overall pretty good. Under 6.5 Canadian Sharks, we won 4,300. Under 5.5 Coyotes Blackhawks, we won 2,750. So yesterday was a really good day in general. But anyways, let's get into plays for today. So let's go ahead and let's refresh OddsJam. And we'll start out on the positive EV tool. So again, like this tool is cool because what it will show you is depending on the sports books you select, of course, and the max odds you have. So I'm just going to set this to 250 and I have Bovada, Underdog, and Prize Pick selected. And it's like, okay, I know I want to be placing 5 or 6 flex plays on Prize Picks. We've kind of gone through the math before, but the reason you want to be placing 5 pick flexes is you have the lowest break-even win rate, which means essentially you have to win as few picks as possible. I mean, let's just put this a little better. My brain's a little hazy today. Is if you're winning 50, let's say 6% of your plays in 2 pick power plays, your ROI is negative 5.92%, right? Just based on, I mean, this spreadsheet, I can actually just share it, put it in the live stream. But if you're winning 56% of your picks in a 2 pick power play, your ROI is negative 6%, right? You need to win 57.73% of your plays to break even on 2 pick power plays. Now change over to 5 flexes. If you're winning 56% of your picks, your ROI is positive 12%. So you really just have to go through the math and understand how these payouts work. What's up, guys? So I've looked at Jock Market and stuff like that. So there's a link to the spreadsheet. So again, it's like it may not be intuitive and it may be a little confusing, but you can go through the math right here. Depending on prize picks, what you want to go with. It's definitely not 2 pick power plays. It's definitely not 4 pick power plays. So on 2 pick power plays, 57.74% means you're getting minus 137 odds. That's why on OddsJam, you're going to see a lot of these plays, on OddsJam, you're going to see prize picks is listed at minus 137 and at minus 119. So here's a good play. It looks like on Bovada that we can pull up here as well. But right, like Troy Terry, over half of a point, it looks like pretty crazy value at minus 119, right? All sports books, Bovada has this minus 145, Pinnacle minus 148. So all sports books have the over for Terry pretty heavily favored, around minus 145. So getting minus 119 is a lot of value, right? We're getting like 26 cents kind of to most sports books, 20 cents, 21 cents of value to DraftKings, 25 cents of value to FanDuel, almost 30 cents of improvement to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker. So, seems like pretty good at minus 119, but at minus 137 in the 2 pick power play, I mean, you're giving up a lot of that value, right? You're giving 18 cents back. So you don't want to be placing. It's so hard to make money on 2 pick power plays compared to 5 flexes or 6 flexes. You can do 5 or 6. So yesterday, in 5 and 6 flexes, you just kind of have to wrap your head around the fact that you aren't going to win most bets, right? You're not going to win most bets on prize picks. You're not going to win most 6 pick flexes. So you can see yesterday, losses like this are brutal. We had a 6 pick flex. This would have been 400 to win 10 grand. We lost this one on Simis, freaking college kids. But regardless, 400 to 800, still a bit of a win. But again, like, you're going to lose. Like, you're going to notice most of my plays are losses. And that's because your payouts for 5 pick flexes are 10x if you go 5 for 5. So you're not expecting to win every single one, right? We're betting 400 to win 4,000. It's unreasonable to think we're going to hit 50% of them, right? No sports bettor can do that. Sports betting is about finding an edge, a long-term verifiable edge. And, hopefully, as you'll see kind of on Prize Picks, on my Pickett profile, if you follow me on Pickett, it's like the ROI on Prize Picks is like 10, 15%. It's great, but it's not every day we're turning $100 into 10,000. But anyways, we can see some plays coming up on Underdog as well. So I say this all the time, but this is why you want, right, numerous sports books. If you only have Prize Picks and you're in a location with Underdog, you're missing out on this profitable bet, right? If you haven't signed up for Bovada, you're missing the most profitable bet available. And in fact, if I select all sports books, if you don't have stake and you're in a place you can use stake, you're missing the most profitable bet on OddsJam, 5.18% profit margin. Knicks minus 9.5. You can get this plus 140 on stake. I mean, tons of value. No other book offering above plus 126. It's a huge discrepancy to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker. They're all the way down at plus 118 with a really tight market, right? They have a pretty tight market. So long story short, more books, more profitable betting opportunities. It's really that simple. I'm just going to focus again on Underdog, Prize Picks, and Bovada because those are kind of most popular. But you can make money on all these books, right? It's just stake is nowhere near as profitable as the books we're going to go through. Like, I'd recommend you can email me as well if you ever have questions about what books to get and stuff like that. It kind of depends on different factors. Like, there's actually this article I'd recommend reading. This is about kind of like what bets I hit. So this one's pretty good. But anyways, let's keep going through. So more books, more profitable betting opportunities. That's kind of obvious. So this will be the first play I lock in. A bit more of an underdog. We've been hot on Bovada. Rangers minus 2.5. We're getting plus 225 on Bovada. No other book offering above plus 210. Pinnacle plus 203, minus 242. So that's their market. So we can go ahead and we can open this up. We can also open up a no vig odds calculator. So like the key concept I think most people struggle, or I struggled to wrap my head around first, is just like, how do sports books work? Like, how do they make money? So they make money like stockbrokers. So here tonight, you can see the Rangers are minus 220 favorites. That's where they're best offered on 5 times. So kind of like the core concept of sports betting for every new bettor is you always want to get the best line, right? If you're betting at minus 235 when there's other books, it doesn't matter if 5 times is in your location or not. If you're only signed up for Caesars and FanDuel and you're betting on the Rangers at minus 235, when another book is offering minus 220, you just know you're getting ripped off, right? It's like your neighbor sells their house for 500 grand and you sell yours for 400 grand. You just feel like an idiot, right? And as a day trader, as an investor, you're not going to make money if you're getting ripped off. And it's no different as a sharp bettor, right? Like, if you're placing your bets at minus 240 when there's books offering minus 220, you're getting screwed and you're not going to make money. Nobody wins every bet, right? It's about having an edge, a long-term verified edge, right? And winning, 3% a day, something like that, right? Like, you're looking for small edges. No one can see the future. A lot of handicappers act like they can see the future and know who's going to win. Or if a game's going to go over or under, that's ridiculous, right? It's all about finding plays with a mathematical edge, finding coins that are essentially weighted in your favor, right? We're looking for plays where we're getting an edge to the market. But the way that books make money is, right, they're like a stockbroker. The way a stockbroker works is they're like, yo, you can buy this stock for $10, you can sell it for $11. So it's no different here. Here, you can bet on the Rangers at, on Caesars as an example. They're saying, hey, you can bet on the Rangers. You can buy the Rangers stock for $235, or you can sell it and bet on the Flyers for $192. So people don't really think in terms of price, but that's exactly what a sportsbook is doing, is right. FanDuel saying, yo, you can bet on the Rangers, you can buy the Rangers for $230, or you can sell them for $188. So that 42-cent spread, there's 42 cents a spread in this market. It's exactly like a stockbroker being like, I'll buy this for $188, I'll sell it for $230. Exactly what FanDuel is saying. I'll sell you the Rangers for $230, right? I'll sell you them for $230, or you can buy them. No, I'll sell you them for $230, or I'll buy them for $188 and let you bet on the Flyers. So that's how sportsbooks work, right? This is a spread. It's just like a stockbroker. So what you need to do is use this no vig odds calculator. So when you're trying to figure out, well, what does a sports book think the true line is with the vig removed, right? What you do is you take a sports book, so Bet Online, whatever, and you put in their market. And what this does is it removes the vig, right? So you can see here, you put in Bet Online's market, plus 203, minus 227. The fair price, right, the true line with the vig removed is roughly plus 210. And we're getting plus 225 on Bovada. So you're always, as a sports bettor, you're always looking for an edge. You're always getting better odds than the true odds, right? So here the true line is plus 210. So we're getting better odds. We're getting plus 225. So this bet is positive EV. Yo, what's up, guys? So let's go ahead and let's get into it. Let's go ahead and let's go to the Rangers game, and we'll place our first bet. Right, and I talked a lot, but like, you got to move quick to get down on the best bets, right? This stuff doesn't last forever. So a lot of people too will ask me about my bet sizes, like, oh, you know, why did you hit this for this amount of money? And you can see, like, depending on what I want to bet on, they'll change around my betting limit. So if I want to bet on double chance, Rangers, Flyers, reg, minus 460, they'll let me bet 34.50. That's my max bet. If I want to bet on this, it's going to be, you know, $750. So like, these sports books ultimately determine, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't make money sports betting. Otherwise, you know, you'd be in a room silently, just, you know, placing $100,000 bets. It's like, that's not how it works, right? Like, sports betting is a great side hustle. Fuck. And it just moved down to plus 185 as I'm talking. So you can see the lines moving, right? In the minus 3.5 just moved down to plus 425. So I talked too much. I wasn't able to place this bet, but this is a crazy high profit margin, 4.61%. Crazy high, if you think about it, right? Because this game's today. Like, people always mess that up, you know, in sports betting, is they're always like, oh, like, you know, your ROI 3%, you know, that's not that great. The stock market goes up an average of 8% a year. But again, like, I talk about it all the time because this is why I'm so excited about sports betting, and why any sharp bettor is excited about sports betting, is the games are today in general. So if you're earning 3% a day, you know, there's 30 days in a month, right? So your monthly ROI will be 90%, right? So if your bankroll is $1,000 after a month of betting every single day on 3% EV wagers, you're looking at, assuming you're betting $1,000 a day, you're looking at your bankroll being $1,900, up 90%, right? If your initial bankroll was $1,000. So if we put in initial bankroll, you know, bankroll after 1 month, like, that's what you're looking at, right? And it's just math, right? Like, it doesn't even relate to OddsJam or whatever, right? This is just like, if your ROI is 3% a day, so if you can get a 3% edge, just a 3% edge over the sportsbook, you're looking at 90% returns a month. If it's 1%, that means you're looking at 30% a month, right? So then your bankroll would go from 1,000 to 1,300, right? It's going to grow slower. So the more bankroll you have, the more dollar amount you're going to make, right? If this were 10,000, your bankroll after a month is 13,000. But again, the reason it's not super scalable is exactly what you saw. Like, first of all, this is time intensive. You know, this requires time. Like, I'm not, you know, like, you can't just like wake up and never place bets and expect to make money. Like, this is like day trading. You are day trading sports books, taking advantage of inefficiencies, you know, and people always like to think sports betting's as easy as whipping out your phone and, you know, the sharp bettors can see the future and know the freaking Commanders are going to win. The Washington football team's going to win. They can see the future, whip out their phone 2 minutes before the game starts and hammer that bet for $40,000. Like, it's not how you make money sports betting, right? It's like, that's BS. That's like, oh, that's how I cheat a slot machine, or, you know, like, it's BS. The way you make money is you have a verifiable edge. You take advantage of sportsbook inefficiencies. You know how the books work. You know how they operate. You know how the markets work. You know, and that's how sharp bettors do it. Sharp bettors who are consistently winning, they understand the market. You know, they understand how crazy it is that as a sharp bettor, you literally have dozens of books all telling you where a line should be set, and you're taking advantage of inefficiencies, right? It says minus 119 on Prize Picks. We're for sure going to lock it in again. So let's start going with a new entry. So we'll go here. We'll start out with Troy Terry points. I don't know anything about this guy, right? But the thing is like, it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is you have dozens of books all telling you where the line should be set. These books, this billion dollar company, have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. Their data, their models are better than whatever janky thing you ended up building in Python, most likely, right? Like, these books are smart. So especially when they all agree that a line should be priced around minus 145. I mean, there's no disagreement in the market, and you know how Prize Picks works. You've gone through the payouts with me, and you know, okay, like 5 flexes, we know we only need to win 54.25% of our plays to break even. That implies minus 118.6 odds. So basically on Prize Picks, when you're playing 5 flexes, you should assume, you're getting minus 118.6 odds, minus 119. We round to be conservative, and you're looking for value at minus 119. So here's the first play we're going to be on. So talking a lot, so let's get some plays together. So I'm going to open up a few of the different OddsJam tools, and we'll start hunting. So we can also look at NHL shots on goal on the OddsJam screen, and we'll go through and we'll find some bets. So, the EV tool, like obviously lower profit margin isn't that attractive, right? Like 0.19%. I'm not rushing to bet this. If I have 2 really profitable bets on Underdog, we know on Underdog what's mathematically optimal is 3-pick or 5-pick entries. So yeah, if I have 2 really good plays, like I'm going to bet this on BAM, I'll throw it in, like the profit margin's low. I'm not rushing to bet this. Whereas on Prize Picks, you can see right now, typically I just sort OddsJam to see the highest profit margin plays first. And like, obviously there's higher profit margin right now on Prize Picks. So first plays in the NHL, just following the data. Every book pricing this around minus 150. We're getting minus 119. Sign me up. Here you can see Isaac Okoro, under 10.5 PRAs. Looks like there's some value there. You have Donovan Mitchell, over 25 half points. All the books have the over heavily juiced, right? Pinnacle's at minus 148. We have KD, under 1.5 made threes. So some different plays. Some of these, I already gave out one play if you want to tail it. Earlier, Troy over, Hayton under, KD under, right? So some of the plays we already saw. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So, whoa. So, shit. Seems like there's some plays. So first of all, what is going on here? So arbitrage is when books have such different lines from one another that you can bet on 2 books and make a risk-free profit. So Timmy Allen. So FanDuel, you can see FanDuel has this all the way juiced to minus 162. 40 cents of improvement you're getting on Underdog, but DraftKings and BetUS are not as bullish. So it's kind of like, what's going on here, right? Whereas this Noah Locke one, what is going on here too, right? Like Noah Locke under 14.5, you can get the over at plus 158 on FanDuel. The under is minus 122. So whenever this market is crossed, like we talked about, that Rangers game, we can go back to it. Well, first let me place this bet. So Prize Picks has Timmy Allen's line at 12.5. Underdog's at 13.5. FanDuel's a massive discrepancy, right? And FanDuel, Pinnacle doesn't post odds for college basketball player props. FanDuel's a very good market, to look at. So fuck it. Let's go. Let's hit some bets. So Noah Locke, what we want to do is open this up. And who are you, Noah Locke? So here it's like, oh, now I see why. DraftKings has his line at 13.5, right? NHA is at 13.5. So this is a Prize Picks competitor. Definitely recommend signing up for it if you don't have it. Prize Picks is at 13.5. All these books have his line at 13.5. Underdog is sitting at 14.5. So we want to go to Locke under, Allen under, Timmy Allen under, Locke under. And please lock this in so you guys don't bitch at me if you're tailing it. Bam over 7.5 rebounds. So this is what I'm about to hit. Timmy Allen under, Noah Locke under, Bam over 7.5 rebounds. So please, if you want to tail it, go ahead, tail it. Look at this play on Noah Locke. All books have his line at 13.5 points. FanDuel frickin' has his line at 12.5. With the under favored, we're getting him 14.5, 2 full points higher on underdog. This is absolutely insane. So I can actually open up the screen and kind of show you guys. But again, please lock this in. Timmy Allen under, Noah Locke under, and Bam over in rebounds. I mean, oh my God, this is the bet you write home about. Yeah. This is crazy value, right? FanDuel at 12.5, Casumo also at 12.5. So we have 2 data points telling us the line should be 12.5. You have freaking DraftKings, a bunch of other books at 13.5, Prize Picks, and you have Underdog at 14.5. Clear market inefficiency. We want to hammer that under, and we'll do that. We'll do just that. So more than enough time given. Hopefully some of you were able to tail. Are there certain books that are sharper? Yeah, so I'd say there's definitely books that are sharper. It kind of depends on the market, So Pinnacle, for example, is great for mainline markets, money lines, kind of stuff like that. I have Underdog. Those aren't. Yeah, so this isn't going to show up on the EV tool. I'll talk about it here in a second, but let me just tweet this out and tweet out the live stream link again. But this isn't going to show up. The reason this play on Noah Locke isn't going to show up on the EV tool and it's going to show up on the ARB tool is the EV tool. I mean, this is a bit complicated, but let's go back to that question about sportsbook sharpness. So I'd say the more data points you have, the more confidence you have, right? So in college basketball, there's only 7 sports books that post lines. In the NBA, there's 100. So you have a lot more data points. You have a lot more confidence. So in general, I'd say for college basketball, you want to consider every data point. It's a less liquid market. It's a less efficient kind of market. But I'd say more data means a more informed betting decision. You're. So let me just tweet this out. But more data points is, better, just objectively. If you have 10 sports books all telling you the line should be at 12.5, Underdog's at 14.5, you're even more confident in that under. If you have 100 sports books, let's say for the Super Bowl, everyone has Mahomes' line at 250 passing yards, Underdog's at 275. You have such high confidence. That's such a looked at game, such a big game, right? Such an efficient betting market. Whereas if there's only 3 books, DraftKings, Prize Picks, and Underdog, it's a bit more of a toss-up. So hopefully that answer is helpful. But you kind of just want to consider as many data points as you can. I mean, yeah. Long story short. So let me go ahead and let's reshare my screen and let's continue to look for value because we just found some good plays on Underdog. Yeah, we can look at Prize Picks, not on the EV tool. I mean, I'm sure there's some, right? I say this all the time, but this is manual work, right? This play on Noah Locke we found on the arbitrage tool. Oh my God. Fuck. There's another play. Oh my God. There is value all over this motherfucker. Holy moly. So the arbitrage tool is sick. And I'll tell you why I love the arbitrage tool. Is the arbitrage tool. Oh my God, look at this play on Tristan Newton. So we want to take him under 5.5 assists. Sorry, guys. So please pull this up. This play's fucking incredible. Take the Newton under 5.5 assists. We'll discuss it here in a sec. And then we want to take Timmy Allen. Did this move? So it looks like they moved that. So take Colby Jones over 2.5 assists. Jones over 2.5 assists. So boom, boom. Right, and we'll go through all these here in a sec. And then I want to go to Maybe the low holds tool. So many bets. Oh my God. Melton over 1.5 made threes. Fuck it. So let's go here. Please hit this. Tristan Newton under 5.5 assists. Colby Jones over 2.5. In Melton over 1.5 threes. So, I mean, I'm trying to see if there's anything else you could add that looks decent. Nope. So trying to move quick. Melton over. Colby Jones over 2.5 assists. Tristan Newton under 5.5 assists. So I'm going to hit it right now, and then we can kind of go through this one because this play is incredible. Fuck yeah. So what we can do is we can go to this game. Who are we looking at? So we wanted this open, and then we wanted this, and then we want player assists. We can see, because they tend to flag my bets, but this is the play again we went with. So the Melton play was easy. It's just from the EV tool. Again, the profit margin's lower, but we need 3 picks on underdog. Now this play on, where is he? Colby Jones. So here it's like, okay, it's DraftKings versus Prize Picks, but you have arbitrage, right? So whenever arbitrage exists, the market is crossed, right? So essentially what this means is you can buy the over for $122 and you can sell it on DraftKings for $125. So if you think about it, right, like if you have to, it takes a sec to wrap your head around, but it's like if you could buy a stock for $122 and sell it for $125, is you could make a risk-free $3 in profit. So that's a market inefficiency, right? You could make risk-free money. I mean, that's literally what arbitrage betting is it by definition means you can make risk-free money. So, oh my God, like this play's insane on Tristan Newton. There's going to be a lot of college basketball value. That I definitely can get the sense, but wow. So whenever you have arbitrage, right, you can buy the over for 122 or you can sell it. In other words, bet the under, the other side for 125. Whenever you have risk-free money, in other words, a crossed market, by definition, one play has to be profitable. Something has to be wrong here, right? You can't be able to buy Timmy Allen's under at $122 and then sell it for $126 on FanDuel. $4 in risk-free profit, right? This market is inverted. So these market inefficiencies, because sports books are in general very inefficient, you're able to find these market inefficiencies. This doesn't really happen in the stock market, right? It's not like, oh, you can buy Bitcoin for $10,000 and then go sell it for $15,000 on some other exchange. Like only in the very fragmented, very broken, backwards industry of sports betting are these opportunities possible. So, wow, we are getting some insane plays on this live stream. So here, DraftKings has the over heavily favored minus 165. Right. So a lot of people are like, wait, how do sportsbooks charge the VIG, but you can make risk-free money? Well, what you have to remember is different books set lines independently. So DraftKings has 40-cent spread. They're saying, hey, you can buy the over for 165, right? Or you can sell the over for 125. That's what DraftKings is saying. They have a 40-cent spread, right? You can buy the over for 165, so they'll sell it to you at 165. In their bid, or what they'll buy it at, is 125. So DraftKings has a 40-cent spread. But because books have different lines from one another, right, these markets can get crossed, as they're called. And whenever arbitrage exists, one bet has to be profitable. I mean, here, it's about as clear as day. Freaking huge arbitrage bet with FanDuel. Hey, you could buy the under for $122, or you can sell it for $148, $26 in risk-free profit. And what gives us added confidence that this play is really profitable is take a look at DraftKings market. They have the under at minus 150, the over at plus 110. Again, line shopping is free on OddsJam, so anyone can browse odds. You can take a look, browse odds, any sport. Literally, OddsJam has millions of odds, updating in real time, freaking college baseball, whatever you want to bet on, right? Wow. So DraftKings had the under for this guy on DePaul at minus 150, right? They had the over at plus 110. So you remove the VIG, you remove the spread to get an indication of what would their price be without the spread, minus 126. So we're getting minus 122 and an underdog 3 pick. So we're getting value, right? You're always getting improvement to the no VIG odds. So great. You're always getting better odds, right, than the no VIG odds. You're always getting value to the no VIG line. Here we're getting 5.23 cents of improvement to the no VIG odds. But anyways, let me refresh this, and we'll see if there's any new plays. Oh, my God. Brandon Ingram. Man, there's a shit ton of value today. We're going to make some money today. Here we got another play. Frickin' mark here, arbitrage. You can buy the over for 232 half. You can buy the over 232 half for $110, or you can sell it for $111, right? One of these plays has to be profitable, either the over at minus 110 or the under at plus 111. Pinnacle is notoriously a very sharp, efficient betting market, a very smart sports book, however you want to think about it. So whenever, you see sports books crossed with Pinnacle, typically what you want to do, the sharp bet, is hammering that. So Pelicans Blazers over 232 half is what I want to rip real quick. So we can go back here, and hopefully this is helpful. And you can see, I'm too late. It's already at 233 half. That's annoying. So what we can do is we can check their alternate lines, and sometimes they screw up the alternates. Alternate lines. Where's the total? So we wanted 232 half. Nope, so don't even see it. So is what it is. We missed this one. Again, I say this all the time, but this is taking advantage of market inefficiencies. You got to move quick. It's just kind of how it is. And you can see there's tons more arbitrage bets. Again, more sports books, more profitable betting opportunities. If you have, bet online, here's a great arbitrage bet. You could literally sorry about that. You could literally bet on, both of these outcomes and make a risk-free profit. You could bet on the over at plus 155. You could bet the under at minus 135 and make a risk-free profit. So if you haven't seen our videos on arbitrage betting, there's a little tutorial video here. You can watch it. I mean, I made probably my first $40,000, I think, arbitrage betting. So you can definitely do it. It's just risk-free profits, sports betting. So you can use this tool, and basically the way this tool works is one of these bets has to be profitable, right? And you can kind of use all the data in the market to figure it out. So here, it's okay, as crazy as it sounds, either Chicago State at plus 4,000 is profitable, or Gonzaga at minus 3704 on Pinnacle, right? This market is crossed, right? It actually looks like FanDuel's probably the side with a little bit of value, as crazy as it sounds, Chicago State. And plus 4,000, I apologize. If you don't understand what that means, is this basically means, right? If you're betting at plus 4,000 odds, what you can do is you can go to an odds converter calculator. There's a lot of people will be like, oh, you're crazy. Chicago State's not winning. It's if Chicago State wins against Gonzaga over 2.44% of the time, then this bet would be profitable, right? So we're not asking. When you're debating betting something plus 4,000, the question isn't, is it going to hit? The question is it going to hit over 2.44% of the time? Because if so, then the bet is profitable, right? When you're betting at plus 4,000 odds, you're betting 100 to win $4,000. For every win, you can have 40 losses and break even, right? So 2.44% is all you have to win. And according to Pinnacle's market, they have this 1614 minus 3704. So they have this 1614 minus 3704. So according to their market, they're winning 5.65% of the time, almost double the 2.44%, right? So again, but huge underdogs like this, these markets don't tend to be super efficient. So, this is something, if you're in Canada, you could literally arbitrage bet it if you wanted to. So here it's like, okay, we know Bridges over 4.5 assists is profitable at plus 275, or his under 4.5 at minus 270. So this is just like data-driven sports betting. But anyways, let's find some plays on Prize Picks. Doing a lot of talking. So let's go to this NHL shots on goal. And we can start out here, and we can look for plays on Underdog, on, different books and stuff like that. So here's an early play for Thursday. First period total goals, Blue Sharks over 1.5. Minus 130 here, minus 148 here, right? Pinnacles market minus 148, plus 126. So if you remove the spread, right, they have a 22-cent spread in this market, right? 146 to 148. Hey, the way you need to think about this is they're saying, hey, you can buy the over for $148 or you can sell it for $126. 22-cent spread, right? They're just like a little stockbroker. So essentially the way a stockbroker works is, right, like as a stockbroker, they'll be like, oh, I'll buy this for $10. That's their bid. And their offer will be $11 or something like that. Let's make this 10 and 10, 20. Well, that's not helpful. So let's go here, format, number. So let's say they're like, hey, we'll buy this stock for $10. We'll sell it for $10.20, right? That's a stockbroker's life, is they buy things for 10, they sell it for 10.20, and they make 20 cents. It's all of Wall Street summed up for you, right? Not actually, it's more complicated, but whatever, like basic premise, right? So essentially it's like, okay, well, given that they're willing to buy this stock for $10, they think it's worth more than $10, given all the action they're seeing in the market. And given they're willing to sell it for $10.20, they think it's worth less than $10.20. So what you would call the fair, got to keep increasing the size on this stuff. So what you would call the fair stock price is the midpoint, right? They're willing to buy it for $10, sell it for $10.20. So based on everything, all market knowledge, all information currently available, the fair price is the midpoint, $10.10. So it's the same thing in sports betting, right? Books are taking all these bets, moving around odds due to supply and demand, moving lines. If all the action is coming in on the over for the first period total goals, Pinnacle is going to move this from minus 148 to minus 158, minus 168, right? So this market's dynamic. We already saw that Rangers line at the start of this live stream move directly in our face, like against us. So anyways, let's find some plays. Doing a lot of talking. So we'll go to this NHL screen, and I guess I should see if anyone has questions. Yeah, we're going to go through some Kelly criterion. I think most people use 0.5, but, you can use whatever. So at Cyrus, there's a helper video there and some helper text. I think that's useful, but let's go ahead and let's find some plays. So let's go to NHL shots on goal. Okay, let's reload this. Whoa. What's happened? Whoa. Why is it so zoomed in? Let's go zoom out a bit. Then we'll refresh the EV tool. So Donovan Mitchell over 25 half points, minus 154, minus 142. Seems like pretty solid value. Pinnacle has it minus 148. It's like, okay, we'll go ahead over to Prize Picks and we'll add it in. And maybe this is the first play we go with. So we can go here and then we can go to Mitchell. And I'll try to shut up until we get one done. So the EV tool is super simple to use. Just take the 5 picks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So now you have 4 on Prize Picks. You got to find one more. And you can use the ARB tool. And again, so this guy we already bet on under 14.5. Now the market has crossed FanDuel and Prize Picks. You can buy his under for 119 or you can sell it for $126 on FanDuel. So again, we know one of these plays has to be profitable, but we'll go ahead and hold off because we already used it on Underdog. Keep going through. But again, the reason these plays aren't going to show up on the EV tool, oh my God, we have some esports bets. Don't know anything about esports, but again, the market is crossed by definition. By definition, one of these plays is profitable, either the minus 103 or the plus 105. You can buy a Luminar for $103. You can sell them for $105. That's a $2 spread in the wrong direction. Oilers and on stake. So Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, Blake Hinson. That looks good, right? So this play looks good on Prize Picks, right? Prize Picks is crossed with DraftKings. One of these bets has to be profitable. DraftKings has it minus 160. So we're getting 41 cents of improvement to DraftKings. Parlay Play is just a Prize Picks competitor that we added to OddsJam. You can check it out if you want. FanDuel has this minus 140, 21 cents of improvement. Seems pretty good. So let's go here. And then we want to go to college basketball. Then we want to go to Hinson rebounds. Okay. So now it's like, okay, so we found some plays. We can look at the low holds tool, the middles tool. Oh, my God. Never mind. It looks like it moved. So let's go here. So the low holds tool is pretty cool. I mean, we've done some videos on it. It's really useful for deposit bonuses. Again, there's these little helper, little things that you can read kind of anywhere. But, wow. Okay. So here is another one that may be really good. Georgetown Creighton, Heath, over under 13.5. FanDuel has his line at minus 150 on the under. You can get minus 119 on Prize Picks. DraftKings has his line at 12.5. FanDuel has his line at 12.5. Prize Picks and Underdog are too high relative to the rest of the market, so we want to take him under, right? So this is from the low holds tool. So not all positive EV bets, right? Not all. Positive EV, the tool, positive EV is a term that just means profitable, right? Like your bets have an edge. Your bets are profitable. And the EV tool is the easiest tool on OddsJam to use, but it's also the most restrictive. So for a bet to show up on the positive EV tool, there are certain restrictions that have to be met. There have to be a certain amount of sports books posting odds, right? So here it's if we switch our state, there may be a better indication, but the EV tool requires there's a bunch of sports books posting odds, right? The bet is a clear outlier in the market at minus 119, right? There's at least one sharp sports book like Pinnacle, Bet Online, or Bookmaker posting odds. And it will just highlight for you, the profitable bet. So the EV tool makes it about as easy as it gets, right? Here it's you want to be on Isaac Okoro under 10.5 PRAs. Here's the line on Prize Picks, minus 119. And here's your profit margin, 1.5%. 1.5% a day, 45% a month, right? These are big returns on a daily basis. If you have a 1.5% edge in sports betting, your bankroll is going up 45% a month, 10 grand to 14.5K. You'll see that all over Twitter from OddsJam users. It's just math, right? If you can actually find plays with a 1.5% edge. Now, the low holds tool, this just shows you line discrepancies, right? It won't tell you, though, because there's not enough books posting odds, it won't tell you which side is profitable. So here, there's only one sports book, one posting odds on Jay Heath over under 13.5 points. Only one sports book. So it's not high enough confidence to put on the EV tool. So again, on the EV tool, nothing is better than seeing plays like this, where you have dozens of sports books all pricing the exact same bet, and they're all saying the same thing. Hey, KD under 1.5 made threes should be heavily favored, heavily juiced. Every single sports book has the under heavily juiced from minus 132 to minus 167, right? This is just a Prize Picks competitor. So all books have the under heavily favored. High confidence that this play is profitable, right? There's tons of data points. They're all telling you, this under should be really heavily favored around minus 140-ish. You're getting minus 119, clear value. So we can keep going through. And maybe there will be some more plays. Maybe there won't be. Alex Ovechkin shots on goal, right? So here, the arbitrage tool will also show you line discrepancies, but only when markets are crossed. So the arbitrage tool shows you all the places you could make risk-free money. If you had both DraftKings and 5Dimes, you can buy the over for $105, and then you can sell it for $108 and make $3 of risk-free profit. And this calculator, an arbitrage calculator, will tell you how much you need to bet on both sides, both outcomes, to make a risk-free profit. So all these tools are different in their own way. The low holds tool, it won't tell you which play is profitable. It just shows you big line discrepancies between sports books, right? So even this play on Hinson, right? So this play on, Jay Heath, there's only one sportsbook posting odds, not high enough confidence to show it on the EV tool. But there's such a low spread, right? There's such a big discrepancy between FanDuel and Prize Picks, right? They have this minus 119. FanDuel has it plus 118. FanDuel has this minus 150. Prize Picks has this minus 119. So massive discrepancies in the market, right? Most bets or most odds you look at, like a lot of the times on OddsJam, we're talking about profitable bets. And that's not to say that most bets are profitable. Most bets are unprofitable, right? Like if you look at Rangers Flyers money line, there's no value in the market, right? All these books are setting the line at around the same level. There's not a ton of disagreement. The market isn't crossed, right? You look at the puck line, the market isn't crossed. All books have the line at roughly the same level. You look at the total, there's no value, right? Like the market isn't crossed. So it's not like most bets are profitable, right? OddsJam is updating though. You go to frickin' Bovada, right? Like we go here, it's like the amount of stuff you can bet on. You go to baseball, you go to basketball. If you just look at like one game, there's 235 bets. So sportsbooks, they can't keep everything in check, right? So what OddsJam is doing is for data-oriented, sharp sports bettors, it's hunting down, hey, here's where they're screwing up. Here's the 5 plays where they're screwing up. Here's the most profitable plays or the biggest line discrepancies, right? So let's add this Troy Terry play back in. So this one, a little scared by it, but let's go. So we got some college basketball in the mix. We got some NBA. Right, so we can try to see if we can find some higher profit margin plays. So this play on Mitchell, what's the deal? Is it still there? So we can take a look. So long story short, like you can find profitable plays on the EV tool like this. This is a good example. Here, there's only 2 sports books currently posting odds. This isn't a sports book, right? This is a Prize Picks competitor. They put minus 128 to everything. But here you have 2 sports books posting odds, DraftKings and FanDuel, or DraftKings and Caesars. Caesars has this market minus 145 plus 106. So put their market into a no-vig odds calculator, right? Minus 145 plus 106. So according to Caesars, right, the fair price on the over, so the over without vig, with the vig removed, according to Caesars' model, the over should be priced at minus 122. We're getting, in a 5 flex, minus 119, right? So we're getting value. We're getting improvement to the no vig odds. So that looks good. Now, what about to DraftKings market? They have it minus 140 plus 110. Fair line minus 122.5. So yeah, it actually seems pretty good, right? So we can go here and we can go to block shots, and we want Grant over half of a block shot. So this was found on the low holds tool, right? It wasn't even found on the EV tool because there's only 2 sportsbooks posting odds. So you can kind of use the low holds tool to spot discrepancies. The EV tool is meant to be like for the most beginner sports bettors. This is a tool that you can blindly bet the overs and the unders that are shaded in green. I mean, literally put in the sportsbooks you use, place all the bets in green, highest profit margin plays, bet the most on, you can manage your bankroll, follow the Kelly criterion, whatever. But like, it's meant to be the easiest tool to use. That also means it's the most restrictive. It has the most, guidelines or rails or whatever you want to call it. Whereas the arbitrage tool is just for people who want to make risk-free money. Like some people, they don't want to gamble. They want to make risk-free money, right? And they're happy. A lot of people aren't happy, or they're fine with, arbing sports books, and, maybe they have $500 in DraftKings, $732 in Bet Online. They're happy making $42.55 risk-free in a night. They're happy with this, as opposed to having exposure in having winning days and losing days, right? Like as a positive EV bettor, you kind of have, as you'll see all over my Twitter, right? Like where was it? But like you see it all over, different OddsJam users, just a bunch of people. So like here was my February bet tracker. I use that verified bet tracker Pickett. It's pretty popular, but like a lot of red, right? Like a lot of red, but up 35.7K. And it's just like there's brutal variance as a positive EV bettor. You're flipping coins that are 52% to land on heads, and you're betting on heads, right? But that coin is still 48% to show up on tails. You're still going to have losing days. You're not going to win every week. You're going to have back-to-back losing days. Lost 4 days in a row here, 4 days in a row here, 5 days in a row until yesterday. But insane start to the month, right? 11K win on the 7th. And then the Super Bowl was 23K win. So, pretty insane. But anyways, let's get back to it. Let's find some plays. So we can go to shots on goal. And now let's actually get through shots on goal. Or did we finish low holds? So I guess we didn't finish low holds. So we can finish low holds. So here it's like, yeah, there's a discrepancy between DraftKings and Prize Picks. But I mean, it's not like Prize Picks is a profitable bet. This is a bit of a discrepancy. Like DraftKings has the under heavily favored, but you can get the under at minus 108 on Bet Online. So why on earth would I bet it minus 119 on Prize Picks, right? That's just rational, right? You don't want to get ripped off as a sports bettor. Here's another example, right? Like, sure, we could take Dennis Schroeder over 23.5 points plus assists. It's a big discrepancy to Caesars, but DraftKings is offering minus 115. So there's disagreement in the market on where Schroeder's line should even be set. So like, I'm not rushing to bet the minus 119 on Prize Picks because DraftKings has this minus 115. So there's a little bit of disagreement in the market here, right? Like, so it just shows you discrepancies. It doesn't tell you necessarily which side is profitable. So what you ideally want to see is situations like this, right? Where, okay, like this we can work with. Right? Every book has Bam over 10.5 rebounds plus assists, heavily favored, minus 150, minus 140. Bovada has it minus 145. We're getting minus 119 on Prize Picks. Seems pretty good, right? So we can take Bam over 10.5, right? So here, Schroeder, not a ton of value. Why take minus 119 when Caesars has minus 115? So Bam over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. So let's remove this. And then we want Bam over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. So now we have a 5 flex. We can make it a 6 flex, ideally. Maybe ideally. So we can continue to look through. So here, right, why take Malik Beasley under 25.5 PRAs at minus 119 when FanDuel has it minus 115? Doesn't make sense. Chris Paul, already bet on that play. So we can kind of go through anything exciting, anything interesting out here. So here, Mark Williams over 11.5 points. Looks pretty good. Looks like pretty good value. All books kind of around minus 133. But again, nothing to write home about. This play on Banchero, nothing to write home about. Bucks have it minus 121 on Caesars. Getting minus 119 on Prize Picks doesn't seem like crazy value, right? Like, whatever. So under 20.5 games, I mean, sportsbooks have this minus 120, minus 125, minus 119 doesn't jump off the page and seem like crazy value, right? Like, you want bigger discrepancies in the odds when you're trying to beat the VIG and beat the juice and get a profitable play. Look at this. This play keeps getting better on Troy Terry. Now it's a 2% profit margin. So you're earning 2% edge on your bets. That's 60% a month. Your bankroll goes from 10 grand to 16 grand. So sports books are continuing to juice the over for Troy Terry more and more. And who knows why, right? Maybe sharp action is coming in. A bunch of sharp bettors offshore are hammering Troy Terry to get a point, right? So sportsbooks are going to move his line from minus 148 to minus 158 to minus 168. As more action starts to come in on one side, an unbalanced amount, sportsbooks make those odds less favorable, right? Because there's then at some point, sharps will start betting the under, right? Like if they take it up too much, like let's say Pinnacle takes a bunch of bets on the over and they move the market up to, minus 200 on the over, plus 150 on the under. Well, then maybe sharps come in and they start hammering the under. So then Pinnacle moves it back down to minus 165, plus 125. And maybe that's what the odds should be and what the odds are going to close at, right? So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it's kind of like the price of a stock, right? Like you think about it, a bunch of people may buy it, it may go up a lot, and then people may say, oh, Tesla's actually not that valuable. A bunch of people will sell, the price will go back down, and it kind of stabilizes around fair value, the consensus of what people believe. So where sportsbooks are pricing odds is like, all books in the market are saying, Troy Terry is, if we put in Pinnacle's market right here, minus 148, plus 111, like most books are around Pinnacle's odds. So kind of all the sports books in the market are just saying like, okay, like the over is 55.74% to occur. That's where it is fair in trading in the market, 55.74%. There's not unbalanced action coming in on the over, the under. So sports books haven't had to shift odds, right? So let's go back to the shot on goal thing. Let's reload it. And hopefully we can find one more play before we lock this in, right? And arbitrage betting, risk-free money. I mean, it's a great strategy. Oh my God. 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 So check this out. Cam Reddish, his line, you can buy his under at 139 or at 119, or you can sell his under. You can sell his under at 134. You can buy it for 119. So we have a 15-cent cross market. So if we go to the NBA player points, right, as a sharp bettor, these great lines don't last forever. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Guys, please pull these up. Cam, I mean, just if you want to tail, like obviously you don't have to, but Cam Reddish, under 12.5 points. So let's go here, right? We can check the screen. Like what I'll do a lot of times is just kind of like hop over to the screen, and you're going to see FanDuel. Where is this guy? Come on. Super frustrating. Load, motherfucker. Let's go. Super frustrating when it's slow, but whatever. So let's go back here, and then we want to select Prize Picks as well. So slow. Load. So we want Troy Terry over. Let's just go through the plays quickly. And before, Blake Hinson over 5.5 rebounds, Jay Heath under 13.5 points, Troy Terry to record a point, Jeremiah Grant over half of a block shot, so 1+ block shot, Bam 10.5 rebounds plus assists. We're taking the over. So 3 plays here. Grant to record a block, Troy Terry to have a point, Heath under 13.5 points, Hinson over 5.5 rebounds. Cam Reddish under 12.5 to be debated if the frickin' screen loads. So we can go down, and if my search button works, so we can see here, books have his line at 11.5 with the under favored, right? FanDuel has the under 11.5 at minus 122. We're getting under 12.5 at minus 119 in a flex play. So this is crazy. So 400 to win 10 grand. Let's fucking run it. Boom. So that's the beauty. 400 to win 10 grand. All sharp picks, all mathematically profitable. And I know a lot of people are like, damn, you're a degenerate. It's like, no, not at all. I understand all my plays have an edge, and I know I make money long term, right? Like when you follow the math and you just follow the numbers, it's a very freeing feeling because you don't like I know I win long term, like you just get high confidence in your plays. What's up, guys? So any questions or anything like that, I'm just going to tweet this out. And then we'll get back to it. I mean, we haven't even touched. There's just a fuck ton of value today, right? Like, so we just found 6 good plays. We haven't even really used the screen yet. But I'm sure on the screen there will be a lot of value. So we are going to take a look. And let me take a look. Anyone have questions? Any single bets? Heath points less. Yeah. Yeah. So another thing, you can do, like, the point of this is obviously. So let me share that. Okay. And let's go here. What's up, guys? So let me share my screen and let's go to it. Any single bets? We can take a look. I mean, I gave some out on Bovada. We can take a look, though. Julius Randle under 3.5 assists looks good. If you're willing to dabble with Julius Randle. I mean, I'm sure, again, more books, more profitable bets. So if I select FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, you're going to see more plays, right? Like, it's really that simple. Hey, here's some value on FanDuel. Dame over 4.5 threes. PSG over 1.5 team total. Kind of create a mix of different bets and stuff like that. So more books, more opportunity, right? But also more to manage, right? Sometimes having too many books, like, it's impossible. I mean, there's literally 178 sports books on OddsJam. Like, there's always value on these sports books. They're always screwing up. It's just kind of using the different tools on OddsJam to do it in a way that, the whole point of OddsJam is to make data accessible, right? Sharp bettors all use software. I mean, you think about it, right? Traders, right? People always think like, oh, I can beat Wall Street. Just I'm going to read this article and buy Facebook, right? It's like these guys on Wall Street, they're decked out with data. I mean, it's like investors, right? Like, it's no different here. You need your own Bloomberg terminal to point out inefficiencies in the market, or you don't even stand a chance as a sports bettor, right? It's why you see these handicappers. It's like they're all jokes, right? Like, these are guys sitting at home watching highlights of sports who think they're smarter than all the sports books. It's why most bettors lose money, because that's the norm in the industry, right? Is like following a handicapper and losing money is the norm. So let's go here. And what we can do is we can start out looking through the screen. So we'll start out with shots on goal. Why not? And the main way I use this screen is I just kind of hunt through and I look for discrepancies between mainly Prize Picks and Underdog or sports books, So again, like, you're just trying to like scan through this and hunt for big discrepancies in the odds, right? So it's just a little laggy. And my internet's a little bad in this Airbnb. But what we can do is just kind of scroll through and hopefully find some discrepancies. Right, so we have 2-2. So no, all the books have the under 2.5 heavily favored. So like, sure, Prize Picks and Underdog, they both have the line at 2. Sports books are at 2.5, but all the books have the under heavily favored, right? They all have the under 2.5 heavily favored. So that's not really a play we want to be on. So let's keep going. I think I need to zoom out a bit. I think it's all needs to be zoomed out a bit to make this screen work faster. Maybe I have too many sports books selected. I'm not sure. Come on, baby. Man, it is slow. So I apologize. It'll hopefully get loaded up here in a bit. Sometimes when I have too many tabs open with the screen too, it just a lot of data. So I think the screen is a little more computationally intensive. Let's refresh this. Let's close this. Let's close this. And then let's see if that does anything to help. So anyways, what other plays are available while we're waiting on it to load? Over 1.5 first period total goals, Blue Sharks. We discussed that. Over 8 in Maple Leafs Oilers, plus 225. A little bit of value. Typically, the only filters I've set up on OddsJam are, the books I'm using. So again, there's always going to be a lot of variability in who has winning days and losing days, because again, if you use BetRivers, DraftKings, and FanDuel, as you'll see, you're going to see profitable bets. Oh, here's the most profitable bet currently on BetRivers, Utah State -4. That's not a bet I'm on tonight because I'm heavily limited on BetRivers, so I don't really use that sportsbook much, right? So it's just not a sportsbook you can make money off BetRivers pretty easily. BetRivers is very easy to make money off of, actually. Kind of like Barstool. I just don't use the app a lot because they don't give me very high betting limits. But let's go ahead. Let's see if the screen opens up, and then we can start going through. So now it's a little smaller, which hopefully you guys can still see it, but it should load faster. So again, I'm really just looking for, okay, where do books, right? Where are books setting the lines at different levels, right? Especially Prize Picks and Underdog. These Prize Picks and Underdog are direct competitors. So literally what I do sometimes, and what you can do, is you can literally manually search too. This does not relate to OddsJam. I mean, you can go to the PGA, birdies are better, stuff like that. And oftentimes you can find some decent value, right? So here, John Rahm, his line is 4.5 birdies on Underdog. It's 4 on Prize Picks. So there we found a discrepancy. Just manually searching. Scotty Scheffler, 4 on Prize Picks, 4.5 on Underdog. So a lot of these more niche markets, they'll screw up and you can find some value on. But anyways, let's go through this. So any discrepancies between Prize Picks and Underdog, can kind of go through. And don't get me wrong, sometimes they're both screwing up at the same time, and you'll see something that looks incredible to, dozens of sports books, and both Prize Picks and Underdog are screwing it up. But again, you're kind of in a race against the clock, right? Not everyone has all day to sit there on the freaking computer, right? And you're trying to find profitable bets, which is why the EV tool is the easiest for new sports bettors. It requires no time. I mean, put in the sports books you use, hit some bets, and you're on your way to making money. The screen requires, some more manual work. You got to scan through the market yourself. You got to hunt for value, right? You're looking at where sports books are setting lines at different levels. So here's a play I like. Take a look at this. Lawson Krause, his line on Prize Picks is 2. On sports books, it's 1.5, right? So we want to take him under 2. So let's go back here. I want Lawson Krause under 2. And a lot of people are like, 1.5 versus 2 is not a big difference. It's you have no idea. That's a 33% increase, right? You're going 1.5 to 2 shots on goal. That is not the same as 220 to 220 half in an NBA game. Half a point may not seem like a lot of value. It's massive for 1.5 to 2, right? Because basically in every game, what we're going to see about this guy, so NHL shot on goal. Did I spell his name wrong? Definitely did. So we can go here. We can go to his stats. We can look at his game log. And in basically every game, we're going to see this guy has, probably 0, 1, or 2 shots, or 3, right? 0, 0, 2, 3, 1. So we're getting under 2, right? So we found a spot where, okay, if he has exactly 2 shots on goal, which happens very frequently. It happened 3 games ago against the Flames. If he has exactly 2 shots on goal, we're going to push. Anyone who bet is under 1.5 on the sportsbook is going to lose. 2, he had 2 against the Wild. He went back-to-back 3 games in a row with 2 shots on goal, Ottawa, San Jose, Pitt. So like these differences between 2 and 1.5, like that is how you make money sports betting. It doesn't seem, it's not sexy, but finding inefficiencies like this, where sportsbooks have the line at 1.5, there's not a ton of juice. Minus 140, minus 134, minus 150, not a ton of juice. So, you know, getting under 2, sportsbooks have the line at 1.5, not a lot of juice. Prize Picks is at 2. That's an inefficiency. We want to take the under 2 on Prize Picks, right? They're too high relative to the rest of the market. And same here, right? Rupee hints. This looks decent on Underdog, right? So Underdog has his line at 3. Sportsbooks have his line at 2.5. Prize Picks isn't even posting the line. There's not a ton of juice. So that seems decent value on Underdog. Not as good as the previous play we saw, but regardless, still pretty good value. So we can take him under 3. We have Heath under 13.5 points, which we already played on Prize Picks. And we can keep going through. So here's another one. Mercer under 2, right? Books have him juiced around minus 150. And then we got some on Prize Picks. So let's go ahead. Let's refresh this. And so what we'd want to take is Mercer under 2. Books have his line at 1.5. But here you'll notice, okay, here books are a little more juiced than that previous play we saw in Prize Picks for 1.5 versus 2. Like here, books were ranging from minus 130 to minus 162, minus 149. So kind of the average odds on the over is maybe like minus 145. Whereas here, the average odds is like minus 155 on the over. Which doesn't mean it's bad. It just means, you know, the screen is a little less clear cut in terms of using it, right? Like in terms of using the screen. So here's an example of a play we'd want to avoid, right? Wyatt Johnson. Sportsbooks have the line at 1.5, but they have the over favored around minus 190. Frickin' Pinnacle, they almost have the over at minus 200. They're at minus 197. So sure, Underdog and Prize Picks have the line at 2, but minus, 190 juice versus minus 160, like that changes the game. That takes a bet from having an edge to not having an edge. And as a sharp bettor, again, we're always looking for an edge. So here, Dougie Hamilton, his line is 3 on Prize Picks, 3.5 on Sportsbooks, but they have the under juiced at like minus 150. Maybe a little bit of value if we're looking for a final play on Prize Picks. Nathan McKinnon, under 5. Already took that on Underdog. Keep going. Here's another one that looks decent. Sebastian Aho, under 3 on Underdog. Seth Jarvis, here's another one. Damn. We are finding all sorts of value. So typically when players are in the same game, I just try to take the play that's best because I don't want to get correlation that I'm not a fan of. So what we can do is we can replace this Mercer play. So this Jarvis play actually looks a little better, right? Like literally most sportsbooks aren't even giving you plus money on the under 2.5. Or I apologize, on the under 2.5. So there's not a ton of juice here, right? And we're getting under 3. That seems pretty good to me. Here's a play we want to avoid. Sure, books have his line at 1.5, but again, they're juiced to minus 200. So like, here's Ovechkin, looks kind of good, looks pretty good, but not as good as this play. Again, 4.5 to 5 is a bigger jump than 1.5 to 2, right? Like, so you have to consider that as well. So what we'd want to go with, or what I'm going to go with here in a second, and hopefully you guys can tail this on Underdog, and also hopefully this has been helpful, and then we'll go over to NBA and college basketball, is this. Jarvis under 3, Hintz under 3, Heath under 13.5 points, 350. Seth Jarvis under, Hintz under, Jay Heath under. So feel free to hit it. Heath under, points, 13.5. Rupee Hintz under 3 shots. Seth Jarvis under. So I'm going to hit this. Okay. I didn't post a YouTube video. No, this is just factually like completely incorrect for a lot of reasons, right? Like literally it's just an understanding of markets. Right? Like, You can literally, like, a lot of people will ask about, let me just share my screen. A lot of people will ask about, like, oh, like, these markets aren't necessarily efficient. The thing is it doesn't really matter, right? Like, whenever you have a crossed market, like third quarter total points, it doesn't matter if it's efficient or not. You can make a risk-free 2.78% return on capital betting both sides. Risk-free 2.78%. It doesn't matter if this is Chinese basketball, college basketball, NBA. It's just how markets work. You can buy the over for $110 or you can sell it for $123. That's a $13 arbitrage bet. That's a $13 error on the sports books. It doesn't matter if books are efficient or not. One of these bets has to be profitable by definition. Like, people get so zoned into like words and stuff like that, where it's like, dude, you can make risk-free money. One of these bets has to be profitable. Don't overcomplicate this shit, right? Like, one of these bets is profitable. Stop finding reasons to not make money and not place bets with an edge. So another thing I hear is, like, some people will be like, yo, I never want to get limited by a sports book. Well, if you never want to get limited by a sports book, then you just shouldn't bet, right? You just shouldn't make money. Like, you're not going to make $2 million off DraftKings silently, and they're not going to notice. And every sports book is going to let you make $3 million off them and keep your betting limits, right? It's not going to happen. So you can make money sports betting. You can make a lot of money sports betting. You just kind of need to understand the markets, hustle, and, put in the time and stuff like that. Yeah, I saw it was pretty crazy. But anyways, any other questions? You could. It's just, you could. I mean, there are people who do that. There are people who sit on OddsJam all day and they hit arbitrage bets. It's not the most profitable betting strategy, but there's no reason. It's how I made my first $40,000 sports betting. I would get home from work and I would look for arbitrage bets. And, like, you can definitely do it. Watch all the tutorial videos. There are some downsides. You got to move fast. It's a speed game. You got to sign up for multiple sports books. I mean, you can definitely make money doing it, though. So it's just putting in the time, So let me just tweet this, then we're good to go. And then we'll find some more profitable plays. There's a ton of college basketball. I'm sure we're going to find a ton of value. So let's get to it. Dun, 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 dun. So 1 second. And let's make some money. So let's go ahead and let's share this screen and let's get going. Okay. So we found a lot of profitable plays, which is cool. We found some shot on goal props. We found some value on underdog. We found some value on Bovada. So let's see if there's anything else. I mean, never want to force a bet, but this looks pretty good, right? Josh Giddey under 34.5 PRAs. So that just popped up on the EV tool. So again, this market's dynamic, right? Like, everything is interconnected, like, if Devin Booker's on a minutes restriction, that's going to move around lines for Chris Paul, right? Okay, it's also going to move around lines for KD, right? Who's more likely to have points? So if Devin Booker ends up being on a minutes restriction, KD's PRA line probably has to go up. So there's always reasons that lines are moving, right? Or sharp action comes in, right? Maybe sharp action comes in, it's hammering Josh Giddey's under, so sportsbooks start to move the under more in favor, right? Or they start to make the under more favored, whatever. So you get the point, right? So let's look for some profitable plays. We went through the NHL, so that's cool. We found some good value in the NHL. Let's switch over to college basketball maybe. See if there's any value. We can also check the arbitrage tool. Again, arbitrage, when books are so out of whack, You can make risk-free money betting on both sides. But also, it just indicates one bet has to be profitable. So like tonight, one of these bets has to be profitable by definition. It's not going to show up on the EV tool because there's only 3 books with lines who have alternate lines, right? This isn't Booker's main rebound line. His main rebound line is probably like, what, 5, 4.5, 5.5? But his over 6.5, right? Some sports books offer these alternates. So if you want to bet a player over 6.5 rebounds, over 7.5, you can play those on DraftKings and FanDuel. And here you can see a massive discrepancy, right? You can buy his under for $330 or you can sell it for $360. So that's a $30 arbitrage play. So if you had both DraftKings and FanDuel, you can make a risk-free profit, right? So that's arbitrage betting. I mean, there are definitely some considerations that I've explained in, full tutorial videos. If you, again, just check on the site, there's a bunch of free content we have about it. You can scan through the market, try to find arbitrage manually, stuff like that. It's a good concept to learn regardless. There's also some considerations you want to have, right? When arbitrage betting that are kind of explained in the video. Like you got to move fast, right? If I'm trying to place an arbitrage bet and I rush, to DraftKings and I bet this over plus 360 and I'm following the calculator, maybe by the time I go to FanDuel, FanDuel's line has moved from minus 330 to minus 390. And now, the line moved. So now the arbitrage goes away. Now there's $30 of VIG in the market and not $30 of my arbitrage spread. So you got to remember that, like you got to move quick. So definitely just like watch the tutorial videos. I think they're helpful on the websites and stuff like this. But in general, it's just like sports betting in general, like when you're ramping up bets and starting to bet more, like you just, put in the time to understand each of these books, how they work, how their payouts work and stuff like that, just because it pays such big dividends. Not understanding how the books work, like you're not going to make money. So we can look at college basketball, right? Literally just scanning through the market, looking for inefficiencies. Here, all books have Bowie's line, whoever this guy is, at 19.5 points. They have roughly similar odds. So you have 4 data points, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all telling you his line should be 19.5. There's not a ton of juice in either direction. There's no value here, so we don't want to play it, right? As a sharp bettor, we are hunting through the market, looking for inefficiencies where we can pick off books, right? It's the only way to literally you're guaranteeing you're making money, right? Arbitrage is guaranteed money, and it's just by an understanding of sports books, how they work, stuff like that. So we got Timmy Allen under 13.5 points, I believe. What did we get on Timmy Allen? We got him under 13.5 points. Now look at this. His line is 13 on underdog, so they bumped it down, which is a good indication. When you take an under 13.5 and the underdog goes, oh shit, you're smart, we're going to move the line down to 13, that's an indication you're doing something right. Look at this. All books have his line at 12.5. You even have some sports books, Casumo, they have his under favored, right? They have his under at minus 125. The over's at minus 109, so lines are juiced towards the under. So we can go ahead, we can hunt through the market. Here's an inefficiency, right? 8 for Tomlin, 8.5 on all the books, maybe a little bit of value. But again, nothing to write home about. What about this? Prize Picks has the line at 16.5. For Bryce Sensabaugh, underdogs at 15.5. All the books are at 15.5, but they have the over around minus 140. So they all have the over 15.5 juiced pretty heavily. So maybe a little bit of value here on Bryce, but we can see if there's anything more clear. Just kind of scanning through the market. We don't have to bet anything if there's not a ton of value. Here's another one, right? 16.5 for Young, 17.5 on the Bucks. So that was Young. Who was the other guy we were looking at? I forget. So Young, 16.5, Bucks, 17.5. So maybe a little bit of value there. So we can get it locked in. Why not? Right? So literally just data-driven sports betting. I don't know anything about this guy. It does not matter, right? Does not matter. This is just an understanding of markets. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points, all telling us you have 9 data points telling you, yo, this line should be 17.5. You have prize picks at 16.5. 9 versus 1. It's simple math. Either 9 sports books are wrong or prize picks is wrong, right? One of the two. There's a market inefficiency. So 9 data points versus 1. Take the over on prize picks, right? Like literally, like you can understand all the math. We go through a bunch of math in all our videos. We have some really like deep strategy videos explaining no vig odds and all this stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, we got prize picks at 7.5. We have 4 data points telling us the line should be 8.5. It's just logical sports betting, right? Like, the way that sports books make money is they charge the vig, they charge the juice. So 7.5 to 8.5 is a bigger jump than 16.5 to 17.5 or whatever the play on Young was. So that play looks even better. So boom, we're through player points. So that's cool. So then we can go to rebounds, and then we can refresh the EV tool, and maybe there's something new for us to take advantage of on the EV tool. Still that Troy Terry. Hey, now we have James Wiseman under 8.5 rebounds on underdog. This looks pretty cool. Rozier, right? Market is crossed too, right? Crossed with DraftKings. That's what my eyes went to. So we want Rozier assists, right? Just taking plays straight from the EV tool. So I kind of just like flip-flop. Like I'll refresh the EV tool. Maybe there's something new. Maybe there's not, but refresh it. Troy Terry, Rozier. Okay. Mark Williams over 11.5 points. How do we feel about this? Books decent, lower profit margin, whatever. Maybe we can find a player rebound play really quickly. So here, 8 versus 8.5 seems decent. 5 versus 5.5. So, I mean, seems like there's some value, right? 8 versus 8.5. But again, like sportsbooks have the under a bit favored. You're not getting a full rebound. You're getting half a rebound. So maybe some value. I don't know. This looks crazy good too. Wendell Green, 3 on prize picks, 3.5 on sports books. So we could take it. So okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks here. So let's go ahead. Let's take this for 100. So here's and then I'll keep some of these, and I'm going to keep my favorite one. So I like this Trey one more than I like Young, Giddey, and this Kraus guy. So here's the first play I'm on. I'm going to keep 2 of these, and we'll keep running it. Right, so here's the first play I'm on. So I should just tweet this out just so people are aware. So Rozier over 5.5 assists. Trey Thomas over 7.5 points, college basketball. Young over 16.5. Kraus. So let's go ahead and let's tweet this out. Wow. And this play on Rozier keeps getting better, so we're not going to want to miss that for too long. And we're going to want to lock it in. It's kind of like the day in the life of, sharp better, whatever you want to call it, pro bettors. Like, this is all they do all day. Like, people act like there's some complicated, crazy stuff going on. But really, there's not. So let's go ahead and let's tweet this out. And then I should actually share my screen, and then let's go through it. So let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So here again is the play if you want to pause it or didn't see it. Trey Thomas over 7.5 points. Young over 16.5. Under 34.5 PRAs for Giddey. Kraus under 2 shots on goal. Rozier over 5.5 assists. So perfect. I'll tweet that, and then we'll go and we'll refresh this, and we'll see what's out there. So damn, now Giddey assists looks pretty solid as well. His under 7.5 assists. So we can roll with that. So we can take him under 7.5 assists, right? And like the market's moving. Market's moving. Just had a profitable play show up. And then we want this Wendell Green over 3 rebounds. So Wendell, let's take you over 3. Oh my God. There is a lot of college basketball today. So 3 3.5s, 3 3.5s, clear value. You can check underdog 4 versus 4.5s. Probably some value there, but whatever. Here's one. Liam Robbins, 8.5 on underdog, 7.5 on sportsbook. Sure, they have the over favored, but I mean, 8.5 versus 7.5, like that's a big jump, right? So this is a full rebound, right? 8.5 to 7.5. So we can start loading up an underdog entry if we're able to find anything. So we want him, Liam Robbins, under 8.5 rebounds. Prize Picks has his line at 8, right? So you can see there's discrepancies all over college basketball. Really good market, 3 versus 3.5s, like a lot of opportunity. I know not everyone can bet on college basketball, so I'm trying to go through reasonably quickly, but you can see there's a lot of inefficiencies in the market, a lot of discrepancies between, once again, Brandon Miller, 6.5s on sportsbooks. Granted, they have the over pretty heavily favored. 7 on Prize Pick, 7.5 on underdog. So you can kind of just like see, just right in front of you, how many discrepancies there really are. So here we have Jalen Cook, 3 3.5s. So what we can do here is, so you can see here, Giddey moved. Great lines don't last forever. I was trying to take his under 7.5. Now it's down to 7. Screw you. So we can go here, and then we can be like, okay, well, Cook, his line's 3. That seems pretty good. So we want to go to rebounds. Cook is at 3, right? So Tulane game. Is that right? Yep. Sportsbook's at 3.5. Not a ton of juice. So here, 3 versus 2.5. Yeah, it's a discrepancy. But again, you can see here the sportsbooks have the under at -160 or the over at -160, right? And this Jalen Green one that we are looking at, they only have it at -135 on the under. So we're taking the over 3, the under 3.5, half a rebound higher is at -135. So you have to consider too, like, where are these books, juicing the line? And again, like, I know I've been, really focused on, giving out plays and stuff like that, but you can feel free to email me any questions you have, whatever, at any point. Here's another one, Damian Bogg, 5 on underdog, 4.5 on sportsbooks. Okay, so we want to go to underdog. Now we have our second play, right? Bogg under 4.5, under 5. 1, 2. College basketball 1. So we're loading up an underdog, right? Underdog has a line at 5, all the books at 4.5. Literally day trading books, taking advantage of their inefficiencies. It's fun. It's fun. And it's a little stressful sometimes. There's a lot of games today. You've seen we've been able to find a lot of profitable plays. As a sharp bettor, you also want to bet a lot, right? Like volume is really important. The more bets you're placing on a daily basis, the better. So like here's, some plays and it's like, sure, like, maybe some value, but like profit margins are a bit lower. So when using the EV tool, like, you obviously want to focus on mainly the more profitable plays. So here you can see like pretty clear value on Sagoon, but again, slightly lower profit margin. This play on Durant looks pretty solid, higher profit margin, right? Like if you want to fade KD. So we now have our play. So we can check assists quickly. We can be like, okay, anything a lot better. So here, this is interesting. Jack Nungy, over 1.5 assists is what you can get on underdog. In a 3-pick entry, you're getting -122 odds. DraftKings, all the books have this -150. So I can guarantee you if we go to the low holds pool, I can't guarantee you, but I'm very confident if we go to the low holds tool. So they moved his assist line down to 7 on that as well. But I can almost guarantee you, so if I go here to underdog, right? Ooh, so we can also get Rozier, right? If we take out Prize Picks, sometimes Prize Picks and underdog have the same line, so OddsSham's going to show you the best line, right? You can see this Rozier play is also on underdog. So what we can do is we can go, okay, we want Rozier over 5.5 assists, right? Right here. Okay. We want, so we're looking for, there should be some college basketball plays here, right? So Gibson, what's going on there? And player points, we can take a look at that. Paulo. Right, so like here's a bunch of different discrepancies, right? Here's the Jack Noonge one we were just talking about. Oh my God. So there's discrepancies all over. So here it's like, right, minus 150, minus 145. This play is not going to show up on the EV tool. Not. Because again, there's not enough books posting odds. Wow. So this play on Josh Giddey also looks good. Under 15.5 rebounds plus assists, right? Minus 163, minus 140, minus 145. So I'm getting a little overwhelmed now, as you can see. So I want to include this. So I want to go here, right? I want to take Giddey under 15.5 rebounds plus assists. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plays. But I also wanted to consider some of these other ones, right? So here, underdog has Gibson's line at 16.5 or 17.5. FanDuel's at 16.5, right? So we want to take Gibson under 17.5 points, right? So that looks good. Okay. And then we wanted to take, so we want this. So it can get stressful. Noonji over 1.5 assists. So what's the deal here? So Noonji, that looks good, right? All books have this minus 150 or minus 145. Minus 150 on DraftKings, minus 145 on BetUS. We're getting minus 122 in a 3-pick or a 5-pick. So what we can do actually is let's get rid of Gibson here, right? And we can take these in an entry together. So we want to hit that, right? And then we want Gibson under. We want Giddey under 15.5 rebounds plus assists. We want Noonge over 1.5 assists, right? 1, 2, 3. So, and then we also want, so we took Gibson under 17.5, okay. So I think there was one more in the DePaul game. So we took Noonge over 1.5. We have 2 data points, 2 sports books telling us the line should be around minus 150. And then we want what was in the DePaul game. So in the DePaul game, Jackson under 7.5 rebounds. So, I mean, you only have DraftKings. This is DraftKings versus underdog, right? So Jackson under 7.5 rebounds. Connecticut versus DePaul, Xavier Providence, DePaul, Connecticut. So here we're taking Gibson under in points for DePaul, as well as Jackson under 7.5 rebounds for Connecticut. So let's look up these players. Andre Jackson, NCAAB, what, just to see what positions they are. So he's a guard at UConn. I just want to make sure they're not like guarding each other. And then we have Gibson from DePaul. And Rozier line moved, so that's annoying. So, always fighting against the clock, right? Like you really are. So long story short, I was trying to figure out, are these guys going to guard each other? But whatever, we'll just get rid of this last play and then we'll place this. Well, I should let you guys bet it first. Gibson under 17.5 points. Giddey under 15.5 rebounds plus assists. Jack Nunge over 1.5 assists. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we'll bet that. And then let me tweet them out. So hopefully you guys were able to get that down. Let me just tweet this out. And then we can go from there. A lot of plays. Still got to go through college basketball. Let me see if questions. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I like sports, so I'll watch a game, but I like UFC. There's definitely stuff I like looking. Yeah, you can find value in soccer props. I just say, soccer is a little less lucrative. I mean, it's definitely less lucrative, I'd say, than the NBA. I find most soccer value not in the player props, but in the main lines and team totals on like FanDuel and books like that. Yeah. So tonight's going to be a big night. So let me go ahead, share my screen. We'll find more plays. And we'll make some money. So this is a long live stream, but there's a lot of opportunity today. Oh, my God. So let's go ahead. Let's share my screen. Let's go. So, okay, a lot of plays open. We literally didn't even finish our prize picks entry yet. We had to, or we have to. So now back on player assists, back on the EV tool. Oh, my God. So Jackson under 7.5 rebounds. I kind of just want to start lining up another underdog. So we'll get Jackson under 7.5 rebounds right here in Connecticut DePaul. Right? Always trying to stay ahead of the curve. Ooh, Bol over 3.5 rebounds. Right? So we're going to – God, there's a lot of value. Kevin Durant under 5.5 rebounds. Boom, we got a fucking play. Let's go, guys. Jackson under 7.5. So that's why I like keeping good plays just kind of in the back of my mind when you're day trading sports books. Like it's good to keep the profitable plays in the back of your mind. So here, all books have this over pretty heavily favored with KD. All books kind of have his under pretty heavily favored. Pinnacle, FanDuel have it like minus 160. We're getting minus 122. So this is what you want to go with. Under, over, under. Right? Under, over, under. Said it. Andre Jackson, under 7.5 rebounds from the low holds tool. 2 plays from the EV tool. Bol over 3.5 rebounds. KD under 5.5. Okay, I'm going to hit it. So hopefully you guys were able to tail it. Andre Jackson under 7.5 rebounds. Bol over 3.5. KD under 5.5. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. We are freaking getting a lot of bets in, which is good. This really is a volume game. I mean, you're day trading sports books. You want more profitable bets on a daily basis. Whoever tells you want less bets, it just means they're a stupid sports bettor. A lot of people will be like, oh, what's your lock of the night? It's like, bro, there's a bunch of bets I'm placing. Every bet has an edge. Every bet has a mathematical profit margin. I know I'm going to win long term, but not all my bets are going to win. I never said all my bets were going to win. I'm not going to win every day. All my plays have an edge. So I want to place more bets on a daily basis to actually reduce my risk, right? More bets on a daily basis is better, right? You reduce risk. You reduce risk. So scanning through the market, here we have a 2 versus 2.5. Nick Honor over 2 assists. Whoever this guy is, right? His line's 2 on Prize Picks, 2.5 on the books. So maybe we go here and we go to player assists. And if you like the YouTube, feel free to, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we have 4 plays. So if you like the YouTube, feel free to subscribe. I'll try to do these live streams more frequently if people like them. So player assists we just went through. Then we want to go to made threes. And guess what? NHL lines are moving. So pretty shortly, it's going to be it's time to go back to NHL shot on goal props and check them out. And obviously refresh the EV page. We'll see if any new value comes up on Bovada, FanDuel, whatever. So now top play is Bol. Boom. Let's go, baby. Right? And boom. Well, just like that, this bet is no longer available. Underdog says nope. Rips it. Okoro, under 10.5 PRAs, right? Take it if you want. Kevin Durant, under 1.5 threes. Malik Beasley, over 17.5 points. So we can check out threes quickly, see if there's anything crazy out there. Probably not. So you can definitely see spots where books have an over or an under heavily juiced. I mean, nothing crazy. Here we have a 2 versus a 1.5, but all the books have the over 1.5 juiced around minus 175, so we don't really want to touch that. So it's like, okay, go back here. We can type in Prize Picks. We can be like, okay, let's check the low holds tool. What about points plus rebounds plus assists? So points plus rebounds plus assists. Another underdog play. Let's go ahead. Let's refresh this. So we can scan through this quickly, look for discrepancies between Prize Picks and underdog. Never want to force a bet. Sometimes there will be a lot of opportunity. Sometimes there won't be. Here we go. Julian Reese. Right, here's 2 they're screwing up. Young, 25.5 on Prize Picks, 26.5 on underdog in the books. Julian Reese, 20.5 on Prize Picks, 21.5 on the books. So you can definitely find some discrepancies. 22.5, Bryce Stitzenbog. So what we can do is we can go to PRAs. We can take Bryce, right? Under, right? And then we want Reese over. Right? So we want Stitzenbog. His line is 22.5 on Prize Picks, 21.5 on the other 3 data points. Whereas this Reese guy, his line is 20.5, right? Then 21.5 on all the books. Now we have an added benefit here too. Maryland is playing OSU, right? So Julian Reese and Bryce, they kind of like compete for rebounds in a way. So if Bryce goes under his PRAs, then it at least should be more likely that Julian Reese will go over. So you can see some more here, right? Uzan, 13.5 on Prize Picks, 14.5 on the books. So we could take him, but we already have 6 picks. So what we could do is we can be like, okay, what we can do is we can rearrange this a bit. Is I can make a 5 flex first, and we'll hit this for $100. In the play I wanted was Honor over 1.5 over 2 assists. That's what we were going to consider adding. So I hit this for $100. If you want to take a screenshot. And then what we can do is get working on another one. So now we got Uzan, right? Forming my own portfolio of profitable bets. Lines 13.5, 14.5 on the other 3 data points. Here, underdogs the discrepancy. Jay Heath, they have his line at 18.5. All the books are at 17.5, right? So tons of inefficiencies in the market for college basketball that you can tee off on and take advantage of just as a data-oriented, sharp sports bettor, right? So now it's like, okay, what plays haven't I bet yet? I haven't taken this Okoro play. I haven't taken this KD play. Well, I have taken the KD play, but might as well do it again. So we can go here. We can go to Durant under, right? We can go to PRAs. We can go to Okoro under, right? Just taking the most profitable bets. Bet in bold, highlighted in green, trusting the market, following the market. I've already taken this Giddey play. These are slightly lower profit margin. I mean, do we want to take them? Do we not want to take them? I mean, if you have leans on any of them, maybe you want to dabble with some of them. I mean, kind of up to you. You know, none of them anything to write home about. All look a little decent, though. I mean, maybe we fade Paulo because why not? Right, so there we go. Right, so there's another one. Following the data, right? So we can hit this for $150. I don't know. You can form your own numbers. You can pick stuff like that, but there we go. You know, pretty clear value. Following the data, following the market. Take a screenshot of this, take a screenshot of this. I'm going to call it a day for now. I got to get more coffee and stuff. But hopefully this was helpful. Let's make some money, guys.